Today on Teuty's Track Analysis, we have the track of the day for March 27th, Hallelujah Mountains by Orbittall and AsckiTM. Hallelujah Mountains is a speed fun track that is mostly made from grass and dirt, however there's one very small road section at the very start and magnets nearing the end. The track also contains many special blocks of which are Turbo, Super Turbo, Reactor Boost, and Reset. The track does have a single finish, however there are two different paths to reach it. If you reach the final checkpoint at about 550 speed, the risky path will save you about 0.7 of a second. You can also take the risky path with a standing respawn to save roughly 0.2 of a second. I completed the track with a time of 47.677. This is roughly 3.3 seconds ahead of the gold medal time and 0.35 ahead of the author medal time. I thought the track was extremely good and would rate it a triple plus. For today's analysis, we are using the current top time, which was driven by Yami-chan. They had a time of 47.280, and this is 0.397 ahead of my personal best. So two of the larger points of emphasis today will be on reducing airtime as well as getting speed slides. Once we are onto the grass section in the track, you want to make sure you're a little bit towards the left of the track. Otherwise, if you are towards the right, you will get airtime. One difference we can see here very early on is I stay on this outside line while the world record ghost right now is kind of just slowly making their way towards the right hand side for the inside turn here. I will dip very late into the corner, but this early sliding here puts me behind by about 0.1 of a second once it's all said and done. Coming up, we have this drop down to the right, so of course you want to be to the outside left of it so you don't get any airtime here. The upcoming grass section, I'm not sure if they have a term for what these are called, but I'm going to call them a rolling hill for now. You kind of want to be going down the center and turning towards the high side of the hill. For example, right here, the high side of the hill would be towards the left, so you want to be turning towards the left while going over this section. For the next turn, you want to be on a somewhat inside line. I think I actually went a little bit too far inside, as it'll cost me a little bit of speed on the exits, but not a major difference here. And coming up, we have another rolling hill here with the high side to the right. So of course, as you're going through the middle of this part, you want to be turning towards the right. Here I'm a bit low, so I'm getting towards the middle a bit late, but I will still turn towards the right here. For the upcoming jump, you want to make sure you are leaving off the left side here. You also want to make sure you are turning a little bit to the left before exiting. This will give you a smoother and earlier landing. Then we have another jump almost immediately here, which I found it best to take as far inside as possible. Obviously, you don't want to compromise your line, so take this smooth no matter what. Just try to set up for an inside line here if you can. And the reason you want this inside line is because it makes it much easier to speed slide through the next section. For the jump into the upcoming wall ride, it seems best to jump almost as high as you possibly can here, as the upper wall is curved and it'll push you right back down, and this will give you basically the smoothest line possible through this section. Coming out of this wall right here, I'll lose a little bit of time because I immediately go to the outside to try to set up for the next turn, while the world record just takes a smoother, straighter line into this part. This was one compromise I had to make on the track really, as I found this outside line a little bit challenging as I was most of the time sliding out too far to the left here, or for the jump, jumping out to the left and completely losing the run. For the upcoming jump, there are a ton of variables on whether or not you can make this with the smallest amount of airtime possible. Obviously, speed is a huge factor, but also is your turning left to right here. If you are turning down towards the right, you will get way less airtime. If you're turning up towards the left, you'll get way more airtime. And these can result in major differences for this jump. And we'll see where I land here, just barely clipping the sand. The world record line also hit the sand as well. Luckily, you're so fast, you just barely touch it, and you're off it real quick, losing only a couple of speed. Next up, we just have one long section which you want to try to speed slide as best as possible. Once you're through the grass part of the loop, you'll be onto a magnet here, which you want to remain on about halfway through. Here I'm actually getting off a bit late, and this will result in me having to turn too hard to the left on the exit, sliding out a little bit to the right, and this will cost me a little bit of extra speed going into the end. This basically takes us to the end here. Not much else to say about the track. The upper left path is the risky path. The lower right is the safe path. It has a bunch of penalty sand in it. The risky path is not all that difficult. All you have to do is try to avoid some penalty sand that's in there, but otherwise it is going to be much faster. So yeah, I guess this is my new type of track to drive, the grass or dirt full speed tracks with these types of hills and jumps. I feel like I've been doing really good at them for the last couple months, and today is no different. My current time at the making this was a top 50 time, so I'm hoping to keep that at least at a top 100 time. I will be grinding this one out a little bit more. Unfortunately, for the 1000th track of the day, it was completely bugged for the cup of the day because the track somehow got over the 6 megabyte limit. Apparently, it was under that limit when it was submitted, and somehow it got over that limit once Nadeo pushed it, so that is really unfortunate, and in typical Nadeo fashion, something they completely botched. That'll do it for today's analysis, though. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to like the video and subscribe. Check the description for links to my Twitch and Discord, and be sure to check out all the other track analysis videos out on the channel already. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for the next one.